everyone, my name is Momo and I'm a registered migration agent in Seoul Education and Seoul Migration. Today I'm going to talk about the West Australia state nomination. Before the West Australia state nomination is a little bit difficult compared to other states. So normally when the client comes to me, I will not suggest West Australia is a good place for them to go to. But from this year, West Australia become much more easier compared to before, and the regulation is also become more flexible and more clear. So let's start. We can talk about what's the difference compared to before. So there are three streams for the West Australia state nominations. The first one is the general stream, and it's Schedule 1. And the second one is the general stream, Schedule 2. The last one is the graduate stream. The last one will be, I guess, the easiest one because you need to study in West Australia and you need to graduate there. So let's check one by one how the stream is. So the first one, so for each of the three streams, they all have their own occupation list. So let's check the Schedule 1 first. So for the occupation list, we can see on the screen, you can see there are many occupations like the dentist, midwife, or some popular occupations like the physiotherapist, and also the registered nurse, or all kind of registered nurse like the child and family one, aged care one, disability one, and that's it. So you can see most of the occupation in Schedule 1 is related to medical. So it's a little bit hard for most of the people. But it's okay, we can check what's the requirement for Schedule 1 first. So let's see. First, of course, you need to meet the Department of Home Affairs requirements. So for this one, the most important thing is that you need to have a skill assessment, a positive skill assessment in order to lodge the state nomination, no matter it's 190 or 491. And secondly, you need to live in Australia, and then you need to meet the English requirement. There are two types of English requirement, and it depends on your occupation is in the NDESCO major occupation group 1 or 2. So we can check table 1. You need to have the professional English, which is IELTS 7 in each band. Or you can have other English exam result as well, like PTE. And table 2 is the competent English that you will require to have the IELTS 6 in each band. And also for the Schedule 1, you need to have meet the working experience requirement. So you will need to have at least 1 year working experience. So the most common questions I was asked is that how many hours per week do I need to work for? In order to meet the working experience requirements, the working hours is 20 hours per week. I guess it's quite reasonable. And except for this one, you also need to provide a contract of employment. So this one, you need to have at least 12 months from the day of the application, and the full-time employment is at least 35 hours per week. But you can provide 2 contracts of employment to make up the 35 hours. So don't worry about the contract content. We will check it for you. And then I think that's almost about it. That you need to demonstrate sufficient settlement funds only if you live outside of West Australia. So we will talk about this one later. So this is about Schedule 1. And what about Schedule 2? Schedule 2, I think it has the most occupation on the list. Let's see. So for the popular one, see the midwife is available. What else? The physiotherapist, Oh no, this is for the Schedule 1. Let's scroll down for the Schedule 2. For the accountants. This is one of the most popular courses that international students will normally choose. And yeah, there it is. It is in the West Australia occupation list. And also baker or beef cattle farmers is also available. And carpentry, chef, civil engineering. So you can see most of the most popular occupations is on Schedule 2 for the Australia occupation list. Cook as well. So trainer and yeah. So when you want to want to decide which course you want to study, you can always check the West Australia occupation list here to see. So this one you don't need to study in West Australia. You can study anywhere in Australia, but you just need to be on the list. Yeah, in the motor mechanic, pastry cook, yeah. Many trade course is on the Schedule 2. Roof plumber as well. Of course, many higher education one like the social worker, software and application programmer, like IT related course. And that's it. Okay, we can check what's the requirement for Schedule 2 stream. So yeah, the first part is similar to the Schedule 1. You need to meet the Department of Home Affairs requirements, live in Australia, and also meet English requirements. English requirement. But the difference is that Schedule 2, you don't need to have 1 year working experience. All you need to do is to get a job offer for 1 year, and then the contract requirement is also 35 hours per week. And then it can be combined with 2 different contracts. So, yeah, and that's it. So I think Schedule 2 is quite easy for the applicant who is not in West Australia, but in other states like in Queensland or Victoria or New South Wales. So all you need to do is to get a job and then apply state nomination. Okay. Let's see the last one, the graduate stream. Oh, it's not this one. So we can check the graduate occupation list for the graduate stream. Which means that you need to study in Australia, in West Australia. So unfortunately, the accountant is not on the graduate occupation list. I mean, the status is closed. So we can see some available and popular one like the baker and yeah, still beef cattle farmer. They need many farmers there. And then cafe and restaurant manager, chef. Chef nowadays is very popular and I think it's almost on all the states in Australia that they offer chef position for each state. And civil engineering, is there any special one? So if you want to choose a occupation, a course to study in West Australia, here's the list. And yeah, finance broker, oh, that's too difficult. Let's see. Here's the ICT security specialist, which is related to IT. And also human resource manager, HR. Okay. What else? Psychologist. Social worker is also available. This is the popular one. And then taxation accountant always closed as well. So not for accounting students. Yeah, I think that's it. Translator is also available. But this one is also only for 491. There's a list, so you can check the eligible visas for 190 or 491. Okay, so let's see what's the requirement for the graduate stream. So meet the requirement, if there are English requirement. Okay, here, West Australia qualifications. So you need to either study in higher education, like bachelor or master or PhD, And then, or you can study that course, the track course, at least certificate 3 level or above, like C4 and diploma in commercial cookery and hospitality, those kind of course. And then you need to study there for at least 2 years study. But this one can also combine with the English language program. So even you study language there, it's count to the 2 years study experience in West Australia. Okay, and then yeah, I think that's it. English occupation. For the last one, they also require the working experience. However, the working experience requirement is a little bit shorter compared to the Schedule 1. It only requires at least 6 months of Australian working experience in your nominated or related occupation. Or you can just have the contract of employment. So you can play at 6 months of the contract of employment. Then you can also meet the requirement for the graduate stream. Okay, so I think that's the briefly idea about what those 3 streams are. So we can check the overview of the stream requirement. So there's Schedule 1, Schedule 2, and graduate stream. You can see that you need to meet the Department of Home Affairs eligibility, yes. And then they all have their own occupation list. So just check the list I just explained earlier. And then you need to currently reside in Australia and also meet the minimum English requirement. For the work experience, the most important one, for the first Schedule 1 is at least 1 year working experience for onshore and 3 years overseas work experience. For Schedule 2, you don't need to have the working experience. And for the graduate stream, you can choose either 6 month working experience or the full-time employment contract for at least 6 months. So contract of employment is required for Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. Okay, and they are both 12-month one. And for the qualification, only graduate stream will require the qualification that is accredited by West Australia Education Institution because it's graduate stream. So Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 doesn't need to. And then, yeah, only the graduate stream will need to meet the 2 years West Australia study requirement, which includes the English study experience there as well. And then, yeah, demonstrate sufficient settlement funds only if you are not currently living in West Australia. Okay. So we can see the popular course for the general stream Schedule 1 is the registered nurse, physiotherapist, speech pathologist, those kind of medical related occupation. And for the Schedule 2, there are so many occupations there. So just check on the list if your occupation is on the list or not. Accountant, chef, I think there are all very good opportunities to be to lodge the state nomination in West Australia, as long as you have the 1 year job over there. So the last one is that you can choose to study there, then you can go for the graduate stream. Only need to study there for 2 years. So chef, engineering, quantity surveyor, social work, and software engineering. Okay, and meet the English requirement. So I just explained before, you need to show the English if your occupation is on the major occupation group 1 or group 2. For table 1 is IELTS 7 in each band, and table 2 is IELTS 6 in each band. Okay, thank you. I think that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us, and we are always here to help you to answer your questions. Thank you. Oh, hi. I forget to mention about one thing. That is that if you study in West Australia, then you will have extra 1 year's 45 visa compared to other states. So I think it's very beneficial if you can study in West Australia. If you haven't decided where to study, I think West Australia is one of the good options for you. And also, if you study there, and you can also start to looking for a job to find if you can find any job that can get a job offer first. And then today we are so glad that we have Alison from the University of West Australia to be here to introduce us some popular and good courses from school. Okay, welcome, Alison.
Hi, thank you for hosting me. I've just realized I can't switch on the video, so if you can just give me that permission, that would be great. But I will share my screen now anyway, just so while we're waiting. Okay, so as Momo said, my name is Alison and I'm from the University of Western Australia, and there I am. And I come from Perth in Western Australia. If you don't know about Perth, I'm going to show you a little bit about Perth and why I love to work and live in Perth. And then I'll also go into a few of our courses and mention some of the key courses that Momo mentioned as well, in terms of the ones that are really great for migration purposes. If you have any questions about any of these courses or about Perth, definitely put it in the Q&A box that you see. Okay, so let's get into it. So Perth. It is a beautiful city, as you can see. That picture there is of our Perth city centre. We do have a really great economy here in Perth. So every year for the last 10 years, we have increased our by 3.5% each year in terms of our economy. And if you look at our average wages in Western Australia, we're 8% above the national average in terms of wages. One of the big things about Perth is that it is a smaller city. So we have about 2.2 million people living in Perth. So it is smaller than Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane. But what's really great is that we have more than a third of the head offices that are listed on the Australian Stock Exchange. So if you look at all of the companies on the Australian Stock Exchange, 32% of those companies are actually, their head office is actually in Perth. So what that means is that our students and our graduates, when they graduate, they don't just work for any company, they actually can work for a big business, because we have less population, but quite a big proportion of head offices. So you will see that our students and our graduates are able to get really great jobs here in Perth. One of the reasons why we have so many head offices in Perth is because of our time zone. So we are located in the same time zone as China and most of Southeast Asia. And we are only 1.5 hours from South Asia, so India and things like that. So for companies wanting to do business to Asia, a lot of times they are located in Perth because of that, that easy way to get there, but also the time difference. We are also one of the lowest cost of living in any Australian capital city. So we have a lower cost of living compared to Brisbane, Melbourne and Sydney. And we are ranked 6th in the world for most livable. And that includes things like air quality, the use of outdoor space, transport, and things like that. We are also ranked as the sunniest capital city in Australia, with over 8 hours of sunshine on average per day. So it's just a really beautiful place to live. I can also say that it is a really safe place to live. So you can see some of the pictures on the screen there. There's really great things in terms of outdoor spaces, the beaches, the parks, but also a lot of cultural and historical places as well. More than a third of West Australians were actually born overseas. So it's a very multicultural place that I'm living in. And there are usually around 60,000 international students in Perth. So obviously that number is a little bit reduced because of the border closures, but it is a very nice student city. Students do get a lot of discounts. So for example, on our public transport, our students do get a 40% discount on transport fees. So it is a very student-centric city to live in. So then let me get you into a little bit about the University of Western Australia. We are ranked in the world's top 100 universities, and we are part of the group of 8 universities Australia. So what that means is that getting a degree from the university will include things like meeting teachers that have won many teaching awards, meeting many different global industry leaders, because we have networks with a lot of different worldwide corporations, and also with gaining work after you graduate. So if you've never been to Perth and you've never been to UWA, here is our campus. So you can see up the top here is our city. That's where it says Perth CBD, Elizabeth Quay. So that is about 5 kilometres outside of our campus. So if you're looking at driving from the city to UWA, it's about a 10-minute drive. Public transport, if you're catching a bus, it will probably be about 12 to 15 minutes. But our campus is quite a big campus, as you can see. From one end to the other end, it probably takes you about 20 minutes to walk down the campus. And you can also see there are really beautiful buildings on the campus, as well as a lot of greenery. So there's a lot of outdoor areas to sit as well. You'll see opposite the road from our campus is UWA College Road. That is what we call our accommodation. So if you want to stay on campus, you can stay at one of our colleges, and that's where you get your own room provided for you, but your meals and everything will also be included, but you eat in sort of like a big hall all together. We also have our health campus, which is probably about a 10-minute walk from our main campus. And the UWA Health Campus is located next to some major hospitals, the pathology clinic. A lot of the medical centres and dental centres are actually located there as well. So our medicine, dentistry, pathology, biochemistry, all of those students will study on the health campus. But one of the best things about studying at UWA is not just the course that you will be enrolled in and the classes that you will attend. It is much more than just a degree at the end of the day, because there's so many different experiences that you will be able to get by studying at UWA. So we have over 150 different student-run clubs and societies for you to join. And those clubs and societies are great, not just to meet new friends and to find out more about what you like. So you can join fun clubs like the anime club or the fencing club or different sport clubs. But there's actually lots of different clubs and societies really aimed to help you get work ready. So we have clubs where, for instance, if you are studying engineering, you could join the University Engineers Club, and they offer things like networking with potential employers. So they will invite employers on campus and you will speak with those employers. If you want to join, for instance, there is the student managed investment funds. That's if you're interested in things like investing. And you'll join that club and learn more about stocks, and we'll get industry people to actually speak to students about investments and things like that. So definitely, if you are coming to UWA, have a look at all of the different clubs and definitely join as many as you want. Our courses are also very hands-on. So it's not just about the theory that you will learn. about 2/3, 67% of all of our courses incorporate a work integrated learning component. But a lot of times you will have to choose to do that. So you will make sure that the units you choose, you can choose the internship units, the arts practicum or the science practicum units. Make sure you choose those so that you can take advantage of getting that work experience while you're studying your course. And we also have a lot of different on-campus events. So our campus is, as I said, a beautiful campus, but there are often many different events that we host. We host over 1,000 different on-campus events every year. We do some virtually, we do some on campus. So it's a really great environment to study in. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about the courses. I'm not going to go through all of the courses. So I will just show you this page where it has the range of different courses we have. We have these courses at a bachelor degree level or a postgraduate master's degree level, or you could do it as a PhD if you're interested in research. But I'm not going to go through every single course. So if there are courses that I don't mention today that you are interested in, definitely ask the question and I can tell you what's the most relevant course at UWA. So the courses I'm focusing on today are courses that you will see on, either Schedule 1 or Schedule 2 or the graduate stream occupation list. The first one is the Masters of Teaching. So we offer a Masters of Teaching in both primary and secondary education, but we also have a new course that is called F to 12 Education. F to 12 Education is from foundation year, which is in Western Australia, kindergarten, all the way up to year 12. So those are the 3 different education courses we have. It is 1.5 to 2 years full-time, depending on your background. And you do need 60% average in your bachelor degree previously. Your bachelor degree is important when you are looking at getting into the Masters of Teaching, because you do need to have been studying something that is taught in the schools here in Western Australia. So especially that is for secondary education. So for instance, if you want to be a maths teacher in a high school here in Perth, you need to make sure that your bachelor degree has maths units in it. You don't need to study a maths degree, but it needs to have something that had maths in it. And when I say maths in it, it means at least you need at least 6 units. So in your bachelor degree, if you did at least 6 units that have maths or statistics, and at least 2 of those units were at a 3rd year level, that would meet the requirement to get into the Masters of Teaching. The IELTS score for this course is quite high. It is a 7.5 overall. But if you studied your bachelor degree in Australia and you studied 2 years or more in Australia in your bachelor degree, that would actually meet the English requirement without having to do the IELTS. There is only one intake for this course and it is February. So applications are open already for the February intake if you are interested to do that. So some great things about the course is that you do get that professional experience in a school. So you do your pracs. There will be 2 pracs that you will do each year, and it will work out to be about 70 days all up for both pracs. But you will also have the opportunity to volunteer for the initial teaching program. And what that means is that if you volunteer to do that, you'll be based at a school 2 hours per week and for your whole course. And that's really great because that not only gets you the hands-on experience, but it will then increase your networks of when you are looking at work after you graduate. Then we've got the Master of Social Work. So the Master of Social Work is, again, 1.5 to 2 years, depending on your background. If you have done something similar, then it might be a 1.5 year degree. But for the Master of Social Work, we take students from any background. You don't have to have studied social sciences or humanities before. You could have studied anything and move into the Master of Social Work. The GPA requirement is a 5 out of 7, which is about 60%, but it is a quota restricted course. So what that means is students who apply will be ranked, and we will accept around 80 students. So the top 80 students will get the offer from UWA. So just getting the GPA of 5 doesn't mean you're automatically getting in. Obviously, the better you do, the better chance you have of getting a place. The IELTS for this course is also quite high. It's an IELTS of 7 overall, and we only accept the IELTS. We don't accept any other English tests for the Master of Social Work. But again, if you have studied your bachelor degree here in Australia, that actually meets the English requirement for the Master of Social Work. So you won't have to sit the IELTS at all if you have studied your bachelor degree in Australia. The intake months is only at the start of the year, so it's only a February intake. But it is also a very popular course. So just make sure that you're doing well in your bachelor degree to get a place in the Master of Social Work. We have many different master's courses in business, and I can see in some of the schedules and the graduate stream, there were different master's or business courses available, or sorry, business occupations available on the list. So we have a range of different master's courses, as you can see. I'm just going to pull out a few of them. The first one is the professional accounting. So we offer a master's in professional accounting. One really great option in the Masters of Professional Accounting is that you can choose to take the specialization in chartered accounting. And what that means is that you will actually be studying the chartered accounting units within the program, so that when you graduate, you won't have to study those chartered accounting units when you're working to register as a chartered accountant. So those academic requirements to register as a chartered accountant, you can do that within the degree itself, which is a really special option to do. I know other universities offer the CPA within their degree. UWA is one of the only universities to offer the chartered accounting specialization though. So that's really great when you go out to work, because you can say to your employer that you don't need to do the chartered accounting academic units because you have already studied that within your degree. The other course I will highlight is the Masters of Business Analytics. That is a really popular course now because a lot of businesses require data analytics staff or graduates to look at forecasting and things like that. So that is a really popular course with us now. And you can see that picture on the screen is with our trading room. So it's the biggest trading room in the Southern Hemisphere. And we've partnered with Bloomberg and Thomson Reuters so that they provide us all of their software to use. So you will actually be able to get the accreditation with Bloomberg, the Bloomberg software accreditation before you graduate as well. So that's something else that you can say to your employer when you graduate. The Masters of Professional Engineering. So engineering is definitely one area in Western Australia that we have a skill shortage for now. And that is in almost all different engineering specializations. It is a 2 to 3 year program. If you have studied engineering before, it will be a 2-year program. If you have not studied engineering before, but maybe you studied something like maths or physics or I don't know, IT or something like that, something similar, you might be able to get a 3-year offer and finish your engineering degree that way. This course does also include a practicum, and the practicum is usually at a really great engineering firm. So we have placed students in global companies that are located in Perth. So companies like Woodside, companies like BHP, or big resource companies, we are able to place students there. So this is also a really great option if you are interested in the engineering area, because I do also know that resource companies in Perth are actually hiring graduate engineers who are international students. So I know that sometimes sometimes you can hear of international students or international graduates not being able to find a job. But I know definitely in Perth, because a lot of our students have now received their job offers before they graduate, that they are hiring international students. We also have the Masters of IT and the Masters of Data Science. So when you graduate from these courses, you could be classed as a data scientist, as an ICT specialist, programmer, business analyst, those sorts of jobs. Again, 1.5 to 2 years full-time. If you choose not to take the 1.5-year offer, that is for students who have a similar background in their bachelor degree. But you can choose to take the 2-year offer if you want to. If you don't want to get assessed for credits, you can take the 2-year offer, just because then you will be able to get the 3-year post-study work visa. Yeah, so this course is, both courses are, again, very popular, not just because of the migration elements of that, but also because there is a lot of opportunity within these degrees to network with future employers. So you have the option of doing a practicum within the course if you want to, but we also get industry leaders to actually teach some of the classes as well. All right, so those are the main courses that I have gone through. Definitely, if there's any other courses that you are interested in, definitely ask those questions. We also have a series of scholarships available for students interested in a postgraduate course at UWA. It will be based on your bachelor degree results. So if your bachelor degree results is a 70% or more, you could be eligible for a scholarship, and that scholarship is per year of study. So if you are getting 70 to 75%, that's $5,000 per year of study. All the way up to, if you are scoring at least at 85% average in your bachelor degree, that is a $12,000 per year study. Majority of our courses are eligible for a scholarship, and it will be automatically assessed. You do not have to apply for this scholarship when you put your application in, or when SOL put the application in for you, and they upload your transcripts from your previous bachelor degree. Our admissions team will automatically assess you for that scholarship. And that is it. So this last slide will show you all of our contact information. So definitely welcome to chat to us anytime you need to, send us an email. If you want to speak one-on-one with us, we have advisory appointments that we can do virtually as well. But we're always available anytime you need us.
Thank you for Alison for sharing such a good, so many good courses from West Australia, the University of West Australia, and I can see many, like the social work and the accounting courses is quite attractive for many students. And if you have any questions, that you are welcome to leave your message, leave your questions in the chat box, and then we are here to answer your questions.
I'll just answer the question that's in the question and answer now. It's asking about the Master of Social Work. Does it require a social science background? No, it does not. So any students with a completed bachelor degree can apply for the Master of Social Work. The most important thing is your score in your bachelor degree. So the higher you do, the better chance you have of getting in. So if you've completed a master's in hospitality and tourism, that is fine. You would still be able to apply for the course. But yeah, as I said, it will just depend on how well you've scored in that master's degree.
Okay, so I think that's it for today. If you have any more further questions that you are still Q&A, yes. So this is the Q&A section. Someone's asking about the business analysis course.
Yes, thank you. So for the business analytics course, I don't think, let me just check. I'm not 100% sure, so I don't want to tell you the wrong information. So let me just quickly have a look. Okay, so the Masters of Business Analytics is not registered by ACS. So it's only the Master of IT and the Master of Data Science that is accredited by ACS. The Master of Business Analytics is accredited by EQUIS and AACSB, which are the European and the North American business schools. So it's accredited to North America and Europe, basically. So do we accept the PTE as the entry requirement to the Master of Social Work? No, we do not. We only accept the IELTS, or your previous bachelor degree needed to be done in Australia, in the UK, in America, Canada, New Zealand, or South Africa. So those are the only countries where we would accept your bachelor degree as meaning English. Otherwise, you will be required to take the IELTS, and we only accept the IELTS test for the Master of Social Work. Okay, so does the Master of Teaching include placement units? Yes, it does. So as you saw from the slides, it does say 70+ days professional practice. That's actually broken up into 2 placement units. So your first placement unit will be done in your first year, and your second placement unit usually is done in your last semester. And that usually takes place over the term. So the Master of Teaching is actually taught in the same dates as the school term. So the school term in Western Australia is broken up into 4 terms, meaning that they start in February, like early February, and they finish, the school year finishes in December. So it's a little bit different to university, because I know universities, we start later in March and we finish in November, so it's a bit short. But for the Master of Teaching, you will start earlier, and that's why you will probably do a placement in the 4th term of the school term, and you might do a placement in the 1st term, depending on when you start. So if you start in the February intake or the July intake. But yes, there are 2 placement units that you will have to do. And on top of that, you can then do the volunteer initial teacher training program, where you will then be placed in a school throughout the whole time. Okay. Okay, and then someone's asked, what's the differences between business analytics and the Masters of IT and Data Science? The main difference is actually your teachers. So the Masters of Business Analytics is actually taught by our business school. So it will be more focused on the business aspects of the course. So it would include things like your trading, it would include things like bank forecasting and investments and things like that. Whereas the Masters of Data Science, although it has the data analytics there, it's more related to your computer software. Okay, so you might be helping with forecasting, but it will be about writing computer software or writing programs and on that, right? And the Masters of IT is specifically about computer science and programming. So in the future, if you want to be something like a business analyst or a ICT specialist, that would be the Master of IT that you are interested in. So it's sort of 2 different industries when you graduate. Business analytics, you're probably more looking at things like the banking sector and companies like that. Whereas data science, you could be going to probably a bigger range of companies. Things like you could go to different corporations in terms of resources, in terms of construction, because almost every company now needs a data scientist. So the Masters of Data Science would have that. The other big difference is the entry requirements. So the Master of Data Science does need a previous degree of at least 65% average, whereas the Masters of Business Analytics actually only needs a 50% average. So a lot of students actually try to choose the Master of Data Science first, and then if they don't get that, they will then enter the Master of Business Analytics. So does the Master of Business Analytics course require some level of coding skills? I'm just going to check the units now because I'm not 100% sure. So I'm just looking in the handbooks to see what units they will actually be studying. Yes, there will be some level of coding skills, but it will be basic types. So for instance, there are units in programming, but it will be more about understanding basic types of algorithms rather than actually programming the software. You're actually just understanding the algorithms, automation of various tasks, that sort of thing. Okay, so it is you don't need that level in order to study the business analytics because you will learn that within the course. Okay, so how about a scholarship for a doctoral degree in data science? Okay, I didn't really mention your research courses like your PhD or the doctoral degree because those are a little bit more complex, especially with scholarships. We do have scholarships available for doctoral degrees, but sometimes it depends on your research area. So I know this person is interested, you're interested in data science, but within the data science area, it depends on what specific research project you're interested in. Because if we have the professors in that specific area, there might be a scholarship attached to that specific research course. So the first step for students interested in research would be to actually email our Graduate School of Research. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually write that down in the chat. Okay, so what I will do is I will, okay. So in the answer, I've just typed in the email address for the Graduate Research School. That is really the first step to asking about the research courses, but specifically about scholarships as well. The best thing to do in the email is to attach your previous degree as well as your evidence for research. So all of our PhDs do require previous research experience. Maybe you've done an honours, maybe you've done a research dissertation in your bachelor degree. You would attach those documents. And from there, our Graduate Research School will be able to tell you what sort of professors are available in that research area, what sort of scholarships are available in that research area, and also whether you are likely to get a place, get an offer for that course as well. Okay, because it is very specific. So make sure you email them with attach your bachelor degree or your previous degree results, as well as your evidence for research. So maybe your previous thesis that you wrote or your dissertation, put that all in the email to them. All right. Excellent. Great.
More questions here? Okay, so I think that's it for today, and you are welcome to ask us for any further questions on our website, or feel free to contact us anytime. Okay, thank you so much for your participation today, and thank you, Alison, again for your great speech today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.